Hey, what's up guys, it's Laszlo here. So it's been a week since the first episode of Transformers Arrival premiered, and I wanted to make a video where I go through the episode and I explain some of the things and Easter eggs that you didn't catch really, and hopefully you find it interesting enough. First of all, I have to say that I'm really thankful and glad that many of you liked the first episode. I can guarantee that this is going to be better from here. Episode 2 is going to be longer and bigger and more exciting than episode 1, of course. This is just a slow build up to something bigger, and the final episode is going to be the one that I'm really excited about. But let's not jump too far ahead. We have episode 1, and I'm going to break down the scenes and the sequences, some of the Easter eggs. I know that most of the Easter eggs are already known by now, but I see that some of you didn't understand some things, and I'm going to explain all of that in this video. So I wrote the script a while back, a good while back, and I directed the series. Funny enough, the opening of episode 1 is very similar to Rise of the Beast, but I actually didn't copy that. I see that some of you guys said that I copied Rise of the Beast, but this was in production way before we know that what was the opening for Rise of the Beast. So yeah, so we see the pods entering the atmosphere, and I know that we didn't put these cool flame effects on the pods, but we were actually rushing to finish some of the scenes and sequences because this is a non-profit project. Of course we have Patreon, and I'm trying to pay most of the artists working on this because they have life, personal life. They are still doing school and, you know, work and so on. So this is just a side project for them, and I'm trying to pay as much to get them full-time on this project, or to pay the work that they already done, because I don't like having someone working for free for me, because I actually feel bad as an artist. I know that receiving something for your work is just a generally it's a good feeling, and it inspires you to continue and put more effort into the project. And I know that some of you said that this close-up shot of the pods are really compressed, and I know that because I did this shot and I'm really a beginner with the 3D animation and Blender. I've learned a lot, and I actually rendered almost all of these sequences. I had the animators animate it, I had AJ to do the environment, I combined the two, or maybe he combined the two, and I did the final render. So the animators had their PC free and they could play games or use it for school, so they don't get stuck on rendering something for hours. So I offered that, and I tried to help as much as I could in the 3D side of things. Something I want to tell about this Bumblebee model: while it looks great and Jamal Pennan did an amazing job with the texture work, this model was like the Devastator for our ILM. Some of you guys remember when they made Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, some of the ILM PC froze and crashed because of the Devastator model was too high poly and too detailed, and it actually crashed their PCs. For us, it was this simple Bumblebee model. It was so over poly, and it was so overdone, but we had to deal with it because we already started the sequences with this model, and we really didn't want to switch up the models between shots because that already ruins the immersion. And yeah, and I've seen some comments regarding these black screens I did for the episode, and believe it or not, it has a purpose, because we had so many sequences that we didn't know if we are going to use or not. So I just left it like this so we could cut this in half and insert the sequences. So yeah, that's why we have these small little black screens it's for editing, and when we have all of the episodes released, I'm going to cut them into one, basically a full movie, and these black screens are going to get edited out. So this is our first scene of Ultra Magnus and RC. This was animated by Watcher Prime on YouTube. You guys should really check out his channel. He does really cool animations and he's just a really cool guy. So we have Jazz saying that they are actually missing 3 Autobots, one of them being Mirage, and the other is Wheeljack, and the third one is Sideswipe. But he didn't finish as the word Sideswipe, and some of you guys said that I actually edited this wrong and I forgot to fix this scene, but it was actually meant to be like that Ultra Magnus heard, okay, we are missing Mirage, Wheeljack, and he already knew that the other is Sideswipe, and when he heard Side, he just cut into his words and didn't let him finish. So that's meant to be like that. The other thing is this looped animation for Ultra Magnus having his radio up. This was so last minute that I had no other way to finish it other than having this looped or reused, but we are trying to avoid this method in episode 2. We were really rushing this episode to get released, and we already had a lot of delays due to personal issues, and some of the animators, as I've said, had schoolwork and exams, and some of them basically had something in their personal life, so the animation work stuck and we weren't progressing as fast as we expected. So yeah, as I've said, this is just a side project for them. It's a main one for me because I'm a content creator, so yeah, this is my main job. And this is why I have the Patreon page up, because all of these donations are going towards the animators, and as much as I can I pay them, and as often as I just can. And actually this Wheeljack scene was way different when we originally made it, because we didn't know that Wheeljack is going to be Spanish and look like Urkel, so we had to adjust this scene and rewrite it afterwards. And so as you can hear, he is voiced by Malachi Prime, and you can tell that the accent is progressively getting worse, and that's because he injured himself, and as he says, and his head fins are broken off. This was the quickest and easiest explanation I could make up without rewriting most of this dialogue, so this just worked for now, I guess. And yeah, and the other explanation for his humanoid face is that some of the local humans have seen him actually crash land, and they were really scared because of his face. He was, I mean, his current face is not better, if not worse, I think, but he decided to change it to look like them, so he thought that if his face looks like theirs, they won't be as much scared. But I can imagine a scene where they actually screamed and ran away, and Wheeljack was like, what the why? But yeah. So we see Mirage actually arrived in New York. He missed his coordinates, or he meant to explore on his own, so he landed in New York, and his model looks way off, and that's because this is from the Rise of the Beast mobile app, and that was really low poly. But this was actually done maybe a month or a few weeks actually before I premiered episode 1. I wanted to include this scene, and Raja Manoharan worked on this. You know him for his fan-made animations and his music. He actually contributed to main scores for this episode, but he actually lost someone during the production, and I didn't want to bother him to, hey dude, work on this because it's coming out really soon. I wanted him to be alone and do his thing and what he needed to do with his family, and yeah. And if you hear this, I'm sorry dude about what happened. And the first major Easter egg is actually from this sequence. You can see that he's looking at the sign, it says New York, and the street is called Travis Knight Street. This is actually an Easter egg about the Bumblebee movie director Travis Knight, who I really appreciate as a director, and I look up for him, and basically I try to copy his style because I really fell in love with his style. His passion and love and heart he put into Bumblebee was really good. I know that he is known for some bad stuff regarding the actors, but you need to understand that it's not just him. They have casting directors, they have production managers, and they have higher up CEOs, and they are the ones with the money, not him. He does what he can do, and this was what he was able to do. So Mirage calls Wheeljack Pablo because he didn't recognize his voice, and when I was writing episode 1 I was actually thinking about to name drop this Pablo thing, and I was thinking who could call him Pablo, and immediately popped into my head Mirage. It needs to be Mirage. And I actually missed something. Mirage calls Ultra Magnus Bossbot, and this is a Beast Wars Easter egg because in the show Cheetor used to call Primal Big Boss or Bossbot, so I wanted to include some Easter egg from there. So you guys remember earlier in this video I said that we didn't want to switch between models because it would ruin the immersion. Well, we actually had to, because it was so incredibly hard to work with that Bumblebee model that we actually had to switch the model for the transformation, and this one is the Rise of the Beast model. We have tried to squish together his chest to make it look like it was the same model, but you can actually tell it's from GK4K, and it was a way better model, I can tell you that. And we have Jazz being the cool dude. He used to call Bumblebee, or I should say B127, B, just B, the letter B, because it was too long to call him like on his code name, and he actually calls him the triple B now because he's Bumblebee. And the other thing that I'm glad no one really noticed, but we have a missing ground texture. This was rendered 4 times, and we always had some sort of issue with this sequence when Bumblebee and Jazz do the high five sequence, and this was basically a nightmare to work on because of the Bumblebee model. And I'm glad that no one really noticed that the ground texture is missing. So this was a really nice sequence in my opinion. It has some personal touch from Convoy Productions. He gave all of the Autobots some sort of little animation to give them personality, and it was so great. And actually when I first saw the unrendered version I laughed my ass off when RC kicks Jazz because he's posing and trying to make Bumblebee laugh because they were really good friends on Cybertron, and I wanted to make this clear that they really like each other and they were bros on Cybertron, and now they are together again and they can mess around. And yeah, we have a little continuity error in this shot. We have Bumblebee and Jazz, and Jazz was just a few seconds ago on the other side with Ratchet and RC, and now he's next to Bumblebee. But yeah, I wanted to have some personality with the animations, and we actually forgot about continuity, really. But we are trying to avoid this as well in the next episode, so yeah, we know that it was a continuity error. And yeah, we have the first transformation of Prime, and it looks cheap as F. I know that, but we started with this low poly Optimus model, and we had to stick with it to not have too many continuity error with the models, and it was my number one rule to keep Optimus. We will fight through this, and so there was really no other way to make him transform other than hiding most of it, and the parts you see are, well, they look cheap. But we have a custom made model for the next episodes, and we are glad about that because we can properly transform that model on screen. So yeah. So we have the Seekers in this scene. They actually arrived on Earth to investigate a weak Decepticon signal. It was incomplete, but they managed to pick it up because they were chasing the Autobots that arrived at the end of Bumblebee. And they were close enough to pick up the signal and that it was from a Decepticon, but it was weak, so they don't really know what it was about. All they understood was it was something about a base. And this is the scene where Shatter tried to send out the message to the Decepticons to call an army to invade Earth because the Autobots are here at the end of Bumblebee. So I wanted to include as much continuity as I could. So that's why they are here. And some of you are asking about the Megatron line. Starscream said that he was missing from the Autobot City battle. And let's just say that Starscream cannot be trusted. He likes to lie and likes to brag. Look like he's the strongest candidate for being the Decepticon leader if Megatron is dead. But he is not dead, I can tell you that. Then we have the final part of episode 1, and it starts off with a blue battle trap. And I know that some of you said that if I was just reusing assets to save time, but no, this is an actual Easter egg because battle trap in G1 was blue and I wanted to include it as an Easter egg, so that's why he's there. As mid this car scene looks, I'm actually proud of it because I did the glowing scanning effect and I was so proud that I actually did something, and I actually did the environment. The hills and the trees in the background and the road. I actually built it myself. The assets were built by AJ and Nick T, but I was the one who put it together in this sequence. And the other thing is the Michael Bay style, I call it, because you have a daytime sequence switching to a nighttime sequence, and this is because some of the sequences were done way before the final part of that sequence, and we were not really aware that okay, this is going to be really visible, and yeah, we are trying to avoid this as well in the upcoming episodes. Actually, some say that I copied the Earthspark design for RC because she's a Bel Air, a old school car, but I can prove that I designed her way back in 2019, early 2019. Just after Bumblebee's premiere, I was so hyped for the next film, Bumblebee 2. Of course, we didn't get that. That I was thinking what they could be if they were in the 80s, late 80s. and I was thinking like, okay, we rarely have classic cars as Autobots or Decepticons, and a Bel Air gives me the feeling that a Volkswagen Beetle does. It has smooth curves and it's just nice, and especially in this pink color it looks so cute. It was RC for me. Of course, Jess has to try out his new alt mode, so he takes it for a spin, literally. And we have the final scene where Ultra Magnus is scared that the humans actually found them when they arrived, but it's actually Optimus scanning the radio frequencies, the local radio frequencies, and they are in the outskirts of Brighton Falls, the town from Bumblebee. And let's just say that someone arrived on the wrong place on the wrong time, because someone actually crashed into a building, and luckily the police thinks that it's connected to the recent military exercises in Brighton Falls, as we know that that was the cover-up for the Sector 7 mission to hunt down Bumblebee, that it was just a military exercise, and I wanted to connect the dots, and this was the perfect opportunity. And we arrived to the end of episode 1. We have of course the after credit scene, which is a copy of the 2007 scene where Optimus scans the truck. And since we have an upgraded 3D model for Optimus, his robot mode is upgraded for the next episode, I wanted to connect the post credit to that he is now scanning the Rise of the Beast truck. And it was a great opportunity to call back for this 2007 scene where Optimus arrives first on Earth and scans the Peterbilt truck. So that's all I have. I hope you guys understood what I was trying to do, what my team tried to do, as we are a team, Digital Dreamers. So if we achieve something great, it's not just me, it's the team. We are a team, and I'm proud of everyone in the team. And I'm really proud that many of you enjoyed episode 1. Of course it has its issues, and we are trying to improve. We are of course not a big company like ILM or MPC. Yeah, let's leave that. Nah. But we are trying our best, I can tell you that, and I can promise that we will deliver our best for the upcoming episodes. When is episode 2 coming out? Now, I don't have concrete release dates, and I don't like giving out release dates and not meeting those release dates. It's coming when it's ready. That's all I can tell you. I'm going to give you updates on my Twitter. We have our official Digital Dreamers Twitter page, so you can follow that for updates. Of course you have my Twitter page and my YouTube channel. I'm going to give update videos when it's time. Right now we are just preparing for the environments, and yeah, we have to build the world before we animate the characters in it. And I hope you guys understand that. It takes time because we have our lives. But if you want to support us, we have the Patreon page. Those are for the animators, the voice actors. I'm trying to pay as many as I can. Of course I can sometimes pay 1 or 2, but that's how it works. We are non-profit. We are happy what we get, even if it's just $15 or $20. It's something. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And with that, stay safe and talk to you later. Bye.